Hi guys, this is Eve from Ovaniz and today we're going to make this muscular man fondant figure. So let's get started. For today's tutorial we're going to use some edible food coloring, 2 skewers, Ovaniz sculpting tools, 100 grams of ivory colored fondant for the body and for the arms, and 90 grams of grey fondant for the pants. We are getting a lot of questions about the fondant we are using in our tutorials, so I'm going to leave you a link in the description box down below for the best suitable fondant for sculpting fondant figures. And before we get started, I would like to point out that there are 2 kinds of fondant faces that you can attach to the muscular fondant figure we are making today. The first one on the left is the regular cartoon-like simple face, and you can find a free tutorial on how to make this face at our website at ovaniz.com. And the second one is a portrait character, a photo to fondant premium tutorial at ovaniz.com. With this tutorial you can learn how to sculpt your loved one fondant figure, copy it from a picture, and transform them into any character you like. So if you have a bodybuilder friend and you want to surprise him with his figure on his celebration cake, or your friend is having a bachelorette party and you want to make an interesting portrait fondant figure, and basically any other option that you can imagine for a surprising cake. And if you want to download this tutorial, press the first link in the description box. And now let's get started. We are going to start with the legs, and for the legs we will take 90 grams of grey fondant. And basically you can take any color you like, or black fondant if you want black pants, or even blue for jeans. So as usual, take all the lines and ridges in the fondant and bring them all to one place. This is going to be in the inner side of our legs or pants, and start rolling the fondant in between your hands into a smooth, long, rope-shaped piece. So roll the fondant in between your hands and leave the fondant in the middle to be thicker, and on the both ends make it thinner. You see, just like so, we have a thicker piece in the middle and I'm thinning it out on the edges. Now bend the piece in the middle, and already we have a leg shape. Okay, so give it some shape with your fingers. Stretch out the legs a little bit. And now, before we're going to shape the pants, we're going to insert the skewers into the middle of each leg. Now make sure you leave enough of the skewer out to put the shoe end to insert into the cake, and of course enough of the skewer to put the body on top. And now we can start shaping the pants. So stretch the leg a little bit further. And as you can see, I left about 2.5 centimeters of the skewer on top and about 2.5 centimeters on the bottom to insert into the cake. Next, we're going to pinch out the knees in the middle of the legs. And using a small ball tool, I'm shaping the edges of the pants. I'm just inserting the ball tool into the fondant and pulling out and thinning out the edges of the pants to create a more natural look. Next, with the Dresden tool, I'm creating all kinds of lines and folds, just as you would see naturally on the pants when someone's wearing them. Now, if you don't really know where to put all those folds and lines, it's really helpful to just find some kind of picture online of man or a woman wearing the pants, and just to see on the picture where you see all those lines and indentations, and just follow the picture. But usually we have all kind of folds near the shoes and at the knee area, and of course at the crotch area as well. Now, using the stitching tool, I'm marking where the belt is going to be, and I'm drawing the zipper line and the pockets. I want our figure to have its hands in the pockets, so I'm cutting the fondant and slightly opening the pockets to insert the arms later. Next, we will attend to the back of the pants as well, so I'm just marking the bottom line and creating an indentation for it, and I'm using my fingers to shape out the bottom, and again, as well as the front, just add some lines and folds to the pants where they usually go, so around the knee area and maybe down at the bottom of the pants. And we are finished with our legs, so insert the skewers onto a foam base and let them set, and we are going to move on to the shoes. For the shoes, we're going to take 4 grams of fondant for each shoe. I'm using dark brown fondant for this, and we're going to make some sort of the cowboy shoes. So just take the 4 grams of fondant, shape it in between your fingers into an oval shape, and afterwards squish it with your finger like so, and make the nose of the shoe pointy. To create the heel of the shoe, just cut out a triangular shape out from the bottom, just like so. And repeat with the second shoe, of course. and set them aside as well, and we are moving on to the body. For the body, we're going to use 80 grams of ivory colored fondant, and again take all the lines and the creases all in one spot, and this is going to be the bottom. Roll the fondant in between your hands into a rounded rectangle shape. And this shape is the base for the body sculpting. Now with the head ourselves a smooth piece of fondant, squeeze it with your hands slightly and pull out a neck on the top, just like so. So shape out some shoulders and a waistline, and obviously the waist needs to be thinner than the shoulders. Next we're going to create the details, the muscles actually. And using the Dresden tool and the veining tool, we're going to create all the indentations. So we're going to create the lines in the neck and the collarbone, and of course the muscles. And same as the pants, it is very helpful to look at the picture, so you can find a picture of muscular man online and just see where the muscles are and what indentations you need to create. I hope you can see with the lighting all the lines I'm making. Next, we're going to create the indentation in the middle of the body. And first, I'm marking with the veining tool where all the muscles are going to be. And afterwards, I'm using the Dresden tool to push furthermore and create the embossing. Now, about the chest area, this is only the marking for the chest. We're going to make a little bit further in the tutorial, because I prefer to make it on a standing body. This way I can see the proportions better. So this is the chest, and now we're going to make the abs. Abdomen muscles, and after all of my lines are ready, I'm going in with the Dresden tool and pushing further into the fondant and basically creating more of the definition and more embossing. Next, take 2 small pieces of fondant and attach them at the chest where the nipple goes. Next, we will need to shape the back as well. So create the middle line of the back and some muscles at the bottom. And now we can set the body aside to set as well. Next, we're going to make the arms. For the arms, we're going to take 10 grams of ivory colored fondant for each arm. And again, bring all the lines and ridges in the same place and roll the fondant in between your hands into a long sausage shape. And from this point we will start sculpting the arms. So we need to make a shoulder muscle, the bicep, We're going to shape the hand as well, but we're not going to make the details such as the fingers because the hands are going to be in the pockets. And we're going to cut out only the big finger. Here as well, I'm creating small indentations to emphasize the muscles. So with the Dresden tool, I'm slightly pressing in and making indentations. To make the arm look a little bit more muscular. And this is how the arm looks like, and now repeat with the second arm as well. And now, after we finished making all of our parts, we're going to assemble our body. So insert the shoes onto the skewers. And insert the skewers onto the base. Next, I want the pants to look more natural, so I'm just pulling them down slightly with the Dresden tool and with my fingers. Now I'm going to insert the body on top of the pants. And I'm very carefully creating 2 holes with the skewers, and be very careful when you push the fondant on top of the skewers so you won't disfigure and ruin the body. Now, after I created the holes in the fondant and inserted it on top of the skewers, now you can see that the body and the pants are not quite lining in. So what we're going to do is take off the body from the skewers, and using a ball tool and Dresden tool, create an indentation in the pants so that the body could slightly go in. So I'm just pushing the fondant in, and I'm going off the edges of the pants for approximately 2 or 3 millimeters. And you can see the indentation, and you can see the edge of the pants. You can even use your fingers and slightly bring this edge up. And what it does for us is that now that we're going to put the body on top of the pants, the body is going to slide into the pants. Now slide the body back on top of the skewers, push it carefully on top, make the edges meet, and we are going to cover the seam with a belt. Now for the belt, take a small piece of gray fondant, roll it out very thinly, cut out a long rectangle shape, and glue it around the pants and the body to cover the seam. And I cut it 4 tiny stripes for the pants, for the belt hoops as well. So I'm using a small amount of water to glue the belt to the pants, and I'm cutting off the excess. I'm taking a tiny dot of fondant and gluing it to make a button, and afterwards I'm attaching the small rectangle pieces that I made for the hoops as well. Now all those little details like the belt hoops and the buttons, they maybe seem very annoying to make or very hard to make because they're so tiny, but every detail like this just makes the figure look much more realistic. Next we're going to attach the arms, and we're going to use a small amount of water and a toothpick for support. So just insert the toothpicks on both sides of the shoulders and insert the arms on the toothpicks. Insert the hand into the pocket slit we cut it earlier, and smooth the seam between the arm and the body using a small amount of water and the Dresden tool, and just with stroking motions smooth the fondant together. We're not finished yet. Next, we're going to make him tan by coloring the body with some dry food coloring. And after we finish coloring the body, we're going to finish the chest area. And for the last step, we're going to finish the chest. And as you remember earlier from the tutorial, we made the markings for the chest, and now we're going to attach 2 additional pieces of fondant to create more of a definition. So take 2 small pieces of fondant, squeeze them in between your fingers into rounded rectangle shape, just like so. And attach them at the chest, and using the Dresden tool, blend the fondant together with the body. Take 2 small pieces of fondant, attach them at the chest area to create nipples, and color the chest as well. and our muscular man fondant figure is ready. And as I said in the beginning of this video, there are two kinds of fondant faces you can put on this muscular fondant figure. The first one is a cartoon-like simple face. And for the second option, and I'm really excited to talk about it because this is the bestseller at Ovaniz.com, this is the premium tutorial on making a portrait out of fondant. Okay, this is a product that changed the birthday cake and celebration cake entirely. And just imagine seeing your loved one's face when he sees himself on a cake. You can make your child, you can make your husband, you can make a celebrity, you can make your child's head on a superhero's body. The possibilities are endless, and this is a truly amazing product. So thank you for watching this tutorial. All the details are in the description box down below and at ovaniz.com. If you want to watch more tutorials about fondant figures, and you guys like us have a passion for cake fondant decoration, we invite you to subscribe to our channel and hit the like button. This was Eve from Ovaniz. See you in the next video.